February 26th, 2023. You guessed it, hit that subscribe button. If you're watching this video and you haven't hit the subscribe, stop, go down and hit subscribe. If you're not going to subscribe, just quit watching the video now. I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about everything that's been going on in the world. Y'all notice this week I haven't posted many videos because I've been sitting back wanting to see what other channels were saying, see if they were kind of aligning with what I thought. And what I figured out is a couple channels are saying nuclear bombs are going to explode within the next 24 hours, or the world's going to end in a couple weeks. But everybody knows what's actually going on is it's a slow ride to the bottom. But you've got to pick up speed eventually. We've talked about this on my channel for a while, of how you got to imagine a ball rolling down a hill. Eventually it gets faster and picks up momentum as it goes. And we're on the downside hill now. You got all this stuff going on over there still in Ukraine and Russia. We just keep sending more money. We had President Biden supposedly over in Ukraine, which still kind of strange to me why he would go over there, or let me make that clear, how he could go over there and Russia not do anything about it. Like I said in my last video, it makes you wonder if some kind of deal wasn't made for him to go over there. We'd like to think that America and Ukraine and Russia don't talk to each other, but good and well they're on the phone back and forth with each other. So, and who can say that Biden wasn't in Poland, green screened it? Who knows? But everything that's going on right now, we've had the train derailment, problems with the water, some kind of mysterious snow falling in areas up north. It's just, we're on the downslide. But one thing you got to understand is a lot of this stuff happens a lot in the past and we just never hear about it. But nowadays we have phones, everybody makes videos. You can see it as it happens. If you got your phone with you, you can post it up on Facebook, YouTube, anything like that, TikTok, all that stuff. And we know more about what's going on because used to, if you grew up, my age, 45 and younger, or older, I'm sorry, our news was what was on the TV news at every night. But now we get news by the minute. These phones allow us to see everything that's going on by the minute. I still firmly believe we are going to be in this war physically before the end of the year. We don't set our chess pieces up to play the game if we're not going to play the game. We got a lot of money invested over there. Now China's coming up with some kind of peace deal for them. I've told you before, this is all smoke and mirrors. They know what's going to happen before we do, plain and simple. They know the outcome before we do. When we finally hear about it on the news, it's not really breaking news. They knew about it. I've told you all this. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's like a big wrestling show. If you grew up like my age, you remember watching wrestling when you was a kid, teenager. It looks good on TV, but the outcome's predetermined. And what they're trying to get is the great reset. That's what they're wanting. They're wanting us to get to where, you'll own nothing and be happy. Your money will be all digital, which I've said before, pretty much everybody's already digital now because a lot of people don't carry cash anymore. It's all credit cards, pay with your phones, things like that. And that's the world we're living in. They ease this stuff into you. Like I've always told you, like they make a new gun law, right? They always sell it to you on public safety. That's why they're doing it. They always pass a gun law after some kind of event happens, a mass shooter event or something like that. Go back and read your history. I'm big about reading your history. Look at what was going on every time a gun law was passed. And that'll tell you on that. With the world the way it is right now, though, I highly suggest to get prepping, check your preps, make sure you don't have any holes in your preps, and keep adding to it because you got countries now that already are, limiting the amount of vegetables you can buy. Guys, it's going to come here eventually. It's going to be here. You're going to wake up, or one day the bottom's going to fall out. A lot of people like to think it's going to be like these movies we watch where, you're going to be the big soul survivor, the hero out here walking the streets. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be a slow decline. It's going to be, you'll still have communities and towns that try to keep running normally. That will happen. A good show, if you like watching shows, is Jericho. If you watch that show, it's an older show, but it'll kind of give you the idea of how some communities will be during that type of an event. That was a nuclear event on Jericho. It'll be a lot. Some communities will be like that. They'll want to just try to keep it normal, keep running the same like they always do. And I've told you before, we will have people, people like this, that as long as it's not happening right in their area, they don't care. They could care less what's going on. I've told you, think back to 9/11. The cities it affected, it shut them down. Everybody was worried and panicked, but outside of that, people went on about their day. People wasn't leaving work and going home. People wasn't getting their kids out of school and getting them home. People just, well, the government will take care of it. Some YouTube channels on here I've noticed since the train derailment, they keep asking, where's the government at? Why is the government not helping? If you're a homesteader or a prepper, your number one thing is you don't want the government helping you. You just want to do your thing. You want to abide by the laws, do your thing, and you don't want the government in your business. But when something like this happens, they'll start screaming, why is the government not up there helping them? You can't have it both ways, is what I'm trying to say. Now, them people up there, it's terrible that it happened. But the question is, are you going to take a payoff and forget about it? Because, something could happen later on in life with your health from that. What have I always told you? What rules? Money. Money can make a lot of people shut up, right? But guys, that's my thoughts on it. That's why I haven't made any videos this week. I've been sitting back, watching other channels, trying to figure out, if my thoughts and their thoughts align. Some of them they do, but most of them, if you watch the channels I'm talking about, you'll think nuclear war is going to happen every 30 minutes. I still don't see a use in a nuclear weapon, but I may be wrong. But guys, get out there and get prepping. What you need to worry about is yourself and your family. SHTF event does not have to be, a global event. You lose your job, you get hurt in a wreck, anything like that. And you want one less burden that you're having to deal with when something like that happens. Guys, I hope we don't get limits here on things. It's going to get bad if we do. Also in March, people that's on the SNAP benefits, they're getting cut. They're what they get monthly is getting cut. I don't know what's going to happen with that. That's something to watch too. But the world is slowly imploding around us. Plain and simple. It's just a slow roll right now. It's going to pick up more momentum and more speed as it keeps going. It's going to get faster, and one day we're going to wake up and be like, oh wow, it's here, right? And if you're a prepper, if you're a survivalist, if you're a homesteader, in actual reality, that's what you prep for, that's what you plan for, and that's the way you want it to be. You want it to where, the government's just gone, right? You want to just live lawlessly. I don't mean out here breaking the law and stuff, but I mean, you also got to understand when something like that happens, there's still going to be a form of government. They're still going to want taxes from you. They're still going to want money from you. It's not going to just flip upside down and there's going to be no government. There will always be a government, whether we like it or not. That's just the way it'll be. But like I said, if you're a homesteader, a prepper, survivalist, anything like it, if you sit there and say, I don't really want the word SHTF to happen, you're not really telling the truth, because that's what you're preparing for. That's what you're ready to go. If one thing showed us a lot during the pandemic, look how many people who got mad because they had to stay home, who got mad because their kids had to stay home. That told us a lot right there. People got mad about having to stay home. Used to, you would hear people all the time, well, the only time I can get a vacation is if I go to the hospital. I'm sure some of y'all have heard that. But, when they was told to stay home and got paid for it, they didn't like it. So, like I said, you can't have it both ways. Guys, get out there, get prepped up, stay safe, keep your head on a swivel, be aware of your surroundings at all times, protect yourself and your family at all times. If you're still watching, hit the subscribe button. And if you're still watching and you're not going to subscribe, thanks for watching. Stay safe, get prepped up, hit the subscribe.